And welcome to episode 60 of the Drunken Boxing Podcast, coming to you as always from the home of Erguotou and Peking Duck, Beijing, China. Alright, it's been a couple of months since my last release of the Drunken Boxing Podcast. There's been a couple of reasons for that. One, I wanted to wait to have this interview that I'm presenting today. And two, my teacher, my Shifu, Di Guoyong, who has been away in Australia since the beginning of the pandemic, has returned to Beijing. He returned 2 months ago. And he was only going to be here for a couple of months. But being that what it is, I spent basically every day or as much time as possible with him. That meant putting everything else behind or putting everything else in second place so I could spend crucial time with my teacher who I hadn't seen in person for a couple of years. So with that, I have been rather slow getting projects and other things presented in a timely manner on things like YouTube as well as this podcast. Additionally, I'm also looking for some new guests that you guys would like to have or have me interview on the podcast. So if you have some suggestions or ideas, reach out through our website, mushinmartialculture.com. We have a contact form there. So pop us a message, give us some suggestions, some ideas, and I'll see what I can do about that. Alright, let's get into some Mushin martial culture news. I released a glimpse from our online learning program, the Huajin online learning program, particularly the Xingyi module. I just released a glimpse from one of the lessons on one of the 12 animals, the Sharaxing, and this one features a little bit from Tuo-Dragon, which is one of the mythical animals within our 12 animals. Now, differing lineages explain this animal in differing ways. We have our particular way that has been handed down from classical times to us in my lineage, which is a type of a turtle dragon. Nonetheless, it's an animal that is in the water, etc. Anyway, there's a brief glimpse of our version there. It's just some movements. The lessons on the Huajin online learning program are in-depth. They are deep. It's a continuing program that has been running progressively for quite some years now. And it's been quite successful, and there's quite a few members in the program already that have voiced their appreciation of the program. Nonetheless, my goal is to present this system that I was taught by my teacher for both Xingyi Quan and Baguazhang in a holistic and complete manner. And with that, there's a bit of Tuo-Dragon that you guys can take a look at. I also released a free lesson from one of the lessons that was published on the program, the Bagua module, some years ago, in fact. And it's a partner training drill for Chuanzhang, which is piercing palm. So the full lesson is up on YouTube for you guys to take a look. On the program, we have not only technique training, not only Gong Fa, skill building, Neigong, internal Qigong, etc., as well as techniques, etc., but we also have partner drills, applications, etc., that are presented on the program. It's a complete system. And this is one lesson from a partner drill that helps you to develop the structure, ideas, and concepts behind a prominent featuring technique within our Liang style Baguazhang, Chuanzhang, or piercing palm. Additionally, I started to release the episodes from a major project. Now, this project is titled in English, The Secrets of Xingyi Quan. It's a documentary series that was published not really widely here in China some years ago, mostly made by the members there in Taigu, the Xingyi Quan community in Taigu. So it is quite Shanxi Taigu centered in terms of its content and outlook on Xingyi Quan, but nonetheless, that is where the origins and the history of the style started, the fruition, where it started to develop through Li Luoneng, etc. And this documentary is quite interesting because it presents quite a lot of historical aspects, painting the picture of what is the reason behind the formation of Xingyi Quan, why it occurred there, who were the people involved, what they did, and many other aspects that are not quite well known. I mean, even within China, some of these aspects were not well known, but definitely in the West, they weren't known. So I've started to not only translate and dub this, but release it as a whole, and it's quite a major task. It's a very long documentary. I'm breaking it up into episodes, which makes it not only easier for you to consume, but gives me a break in between each one to release the episodes. And we've released 2 episodes so far. I'm looking to release another one pretty soon. But as I mentioned, these are extremely time-consuming tasks. Doing this type of a translation as well as adding background information is very time-consuming. You watch a 10-minute episode that I present there, but it's literally full days of work, more than full days of work for weeks before it's ready to be released, just a single episode. Nonetheless, 2 episodes are out so far. Check it out. I think it's gotten a very good response so far, but I think anybody interested in not only Xingyi Quan, but the northern Chinese martial arts, and particularly styles that are somewhat related, Baguazhang, Taiji Quan, etc., will find this very interesting. It also sheds light on the fascinating development of Chinese martial arts in the north and the reality of where they came from. as opposed to the mythical, esoteric ideas that some people seem to believe. You can see it's very much rooted in reality, the environment, historical circumstances and situations, etc. So check that out. Additionally, I released a little video just highlighting and giving you some insight into the swords that I have available on the Mushin Martial Culture website, which I have particularly made up to a specification that I ask the makers to make them to, which are rigid, traditional swords. They're available with traditional Qing Dynasty style wraps on the handles, etc. These are swords that I use. I've been using them for years. It makes a huge difference training with a solid sword, especially if you're doing traditional Chinese martial arts, and I thought I'd give you guys a little glimpse into what these look like, just a little bit more information as to why we use them, and hopefully it can give you some positive encouragement to get yourself a solid traditional sword and develop the requisite skills that come with it. These are great training swords, and I give you a little glimpse in it. Take a look at the video. Alright, now on to some interesting news on the merchandise front. Now, as you know, I often design and produce some interesting posters related to the martial arts, whether to restore old pictures like the cover that I did for the Dragon Body Tiger Spirit book. I recolored that famous Xingyi gathering meeting that took many months to do, but it was something I always wanted, and I thought that people would want something like that too. And with that, I have done a couple of new projects. Firstly, I restored and hand colored in the same way that I did that Xingyi poster, a portrait of my direct Xingyi ancestor, Shang Yunxiang. Now, Shang Yunxiang, very famous Xingyi practitioner, student of Li Cunyi. He also studied under Guo Yunchen. He's well known in the Chinese martial arts community as well as within Xingyi itself. So I created a new poster in reverence for him and restored it. It's highly detailed. It went through my teacher's photos that he had of these exact photos, and that I then used to then further restore and upscale, etc., and color by hand. So that's been done and that's available. Another poster that I released is a reprint, restoration and reprint of the 1958 All China Shuaijiao Championships. Quite an interesting poster because it's like a little time capsule into the time. It's got an interesting image of two wrestlers throwing one another. And the interesting part about this is not only the history of the poster, but also the person that is doing the throwing. The person in the front is Zhang Wenguang. Now, Zhang Wenguang was a very prominent figure in the Chinese martial arts community, a Chachuan Hui, or a Chinese Muslim Chachuan master. He was a graduate of the Nanjing Guoshu Institute. He performed at the Berlin Olympics in front of you-know-who, and he was also the person that was responsible at the Beijing Sports University as its first professors of Chinese Wushu. So he's actually the young man, because he has a Chinese wrestling background, in the front, throwing. So I thought this was quite interesting, and people that are interested not only in Chinese martial arts history, but as well as Shuaijiao, might like to have this print in their house. But then there's something even more that I did, which is also related to Shuaijiao. When I was doing my hidden history of Shuaijiao research, which was years of research to produce those videos, which were also years of work, I came across a woodblock print from an official magazine that was published at the end of the Qing Dynasty. So this is during the time that the Shanpu Ying was still in existence. And it's a woodblock printing illustration of the Shanpu Ying training. Now, I managed to track down the digital image, the original scan that is housed by a university, and I got the actual image of it, and then I bit by bit, because it's 2 pages, it's separated, I put it together, I restored the lines, cleaning it up because it's not a very great scan, etc. And then using historical references, I bit by bit colored it to bring it to life. And I think it's an important piece of history. It's an important piece of martial history, not just for Shuaijiao, because you can see what it was actually like during that time. There's some very interesting details in the background, like stone locks that they were using, and Qing Dynasty martial examination stones, heavy stones that were being lifted, etc. There's jackets that are hung up that are being that are there to dry. There's people sitting around the side waiting to wrestle. You can see their attire where they wear the chaps, the actual boots, which are again from Mongolian wrestling, just as the art is, and the jackets as well, which disappeared in more recent times, but I try to bring it all to life. There's some Manchu officials, government officials, sitting there who they're actually training and wrestling in front of, and it's just great. It's a large group of wrestlers. It's a very vibrant. I try to bring it to life as much as possible, as best as possible, and the poster is now basically ready. It took many months. In fact, it's taken a couple of years to finish this, because I didn't have all the time in the world just to sit and fix it, and I finally got around to finishing it, but it's now available. So we will have the poster available soon, these 3, and with regards to some other merchandise that I might make with regards to this image of the Shuaijiao, Shampuying Shuaijiao people, I've got some plans for some future things. But if you want to stay up to date with all of our releases, go to our Mushin Martial Culture website, sign up for our newsletter. I send out discount codes, etc., to newsletter subscribers only many times. So that's the other benefit. You'll know when new products are being released as well as other things, and you'll get specials, etc. Anyway, yes, take a look at all of that. The shop is also available on mushinmartialculture.com. All right, let's get into my guest today. My guest today, in fact, is a follow-on from the previous episode. The previous episode, we had Corey Johnson, who's actually an ex-team member of the US Sanda team, and he is a coach under the guest today, which is Coach Ian Lee. Now, Coach Ian Lee was born in 1971 in Taiwan. He began training martial arts very young. He became a professional athlete, in fact, a combat athlete. And he not only did one discipline, he did quite a few. Boxing, he did Chinese wrestling, but then he started to focus on Sanda competition, which is where he excelled in Taiwan, becoming multiple-time national champion. He had competed and represented Taiwan numerous times, including in Asian Games, etc. And he has quite a long history in the art. And he came to the USA and established the United Martial Arts Academy and started teaching Sanda there based on all of his professional experience. And he's developed quite a few athletes. He's the national coach currently. He also sits on the board of the US Federation that manages and governs the sport. He's doing his best now to not only promote, develop athletes, but also to try guide the direction of Sanda in the USA to get it to become more widespread and to offer other avenues to athletes. So this has been a really good interview. I've known Coach Ian Lee for a very long time. He's one of my favorite people in the Chinese martial arts community. He's an all-round, good-hearted, big-hearted, open-minded, very warm person. Apart from his incredible skill at coaching Sanda and as a Sanda athlete himself, he just is a genuinely great human being. So I was very happy to do this interview with him. I'll put some links once again in the show description here. You can check out his website, which is United Martial Arts Academy out in Lubbock, Texas, and any other methods if you want to get in contact with him. Both Ian and Corey have been featured more recently on that YouTuber Sensei Seth's YouTube channel in a couple of episodes. So that was mentioned previously, but you can get some glimpses of him. But knowing Ian Lee in person is a whole other kettle of fish. He really is a great person and he's a wonderful teacher. And with that, I give you Coach Ian Lee. Okay, and welcome to the Drunken Boxing Podcast. I'm really happy to have my old friend, Mr. Ian Lee, Yi-Yuan, who's a phenomenal force to be reckoned with within the realm of Sansho in the USA. He's one of the pioneers that brought high-level coaching. He brought high-level skills to the USA in the early days and started teaching this art, and he's been in charge of the US team for quite some time now. Welcome, Mr. Ian Lee.
Hi, Byron. Thank you for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my honor. I've been really wanting to get your story, to hear more about your background for a long time. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're currently in Lubbock, Texas, yes?
Yes, sir.
And that's where you've been stationed. How long have you been in Lubbock now for?
Oh man, since 99, so that's around like a 20-something years.
Yeah, that's not a short time. And how did you end up there?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can tell us. I mean, you're originally from Taiwan. How did
Yes,
you end
sir.
up in
From
Lubbock,
Taiwan,
Texas?
Kaohsiung.
Hmm. And what brought you to Lubbock?
Okay. After Asian game hosted in Thailand, Bangkok.
Yeah.
After that, it's about time to think about, well, it's time to retire from athlete's life, right?
Mm.
So I got a plan. Maybe I should go to US to get my higher education.
Mm.
But that time, the financial situation is a problem. So one of my students in Kaohsiung, my city, she got her degree, master degree in USA.
Okay.
So she volunteered to help me to find the cheapest city school, and the better chance to get enrolled. So And after spending for a while, she found out Lubbock, Texas, Texas Tech. They have English program. That time, I think probably just a few English, few words. I'm able to say that, like yes, thank you, I love you, something like that. Okay. So she found out Texas Tech. It's located in Lubbock, Texas. Uh, it's it's pretty good for me, especially everything is much cheaper here. That's why I came to Lubbock, Texas
Well, Texas Tech is
for the.
actually a well-known school, though. I mean, it's a pretty well-known and it's a good school as well.
Yes,
So
yes, it is. Probably not top school, but because if you are a big fan of football or
yeah,
basketball, yes, Texas Tech is pretty active.
yeah. That's true. That's true. And what was your what? So you went into an English program there.
It's that time we call the IEP English as a second language
Right.
program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came over here for like a 2 terms of the program,
Okay.
and then I found out it doesn't really help improving my English
Mm.
because it's not just for conversation, right? You know, if you want to apply a university, you got to pass I mean
Yes,
certain kind of exams like
yeah.
TOEFL, like ES.
I know
Another one is for
TEFL,
master degree.
TOEFL, all of those. Yeah.
Yes, yes, something. Yeah. So I went back to Taiwan. I went to the English institution for another 6 months until I passed my English test.
Right.
So I got accepted by Texas Tech.
Okay.
I came over here for my master degree, and after I graduate, I stay here till now.
Okay. What was your realm of study that you were doing in Texas Tech?
It's hotel and restaurant management.
Okay. No, something with a direct hands-on industry approach and dealing with people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think that probably was a pretty good choice, going into your field of work as well. I'm sure there was
Yes,
some
sir. Yes,
important
sir. That
things there.
time, yeah. Under this program, they have special event organizing and planning.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main reason they accept my application
Mm,
and also all of my sports records. So
right.
they let me in this program.
Right. And you just hosted the World Wushu Championships down in Texas last year, which was
Yes, sir.
that we'll get into that because that's obviously no small feat. There must have been a lot of work from planning and preparation to execution. We'll get into that in a minute, but I thought maybe
Yes,
we'd
sir.
talk a little bit about your background and your martial arts background and your sport background in Taiwan. What can you give us a little bit of information about
Yes, sir.
that?
I got started my martial arts training when I was very young.
Hmm.
My family member they also do martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
I got started when I was very young, and then I met my coach. He started. He that time now his generation we don't have a Sanda this sports yet in Taiwan. They call it Lei Tai.
Yeah.
That's all Sanda's old school Sanda's name.
Yeah, originally from the Guoshu movement.
Guoshu Lei Tai, yeah, that's very yes quite early of a generation. That time I think that mainly China they probably didn't have a Sanda this sports yet.
Yeah, I mean, in China, it only really started to be developed in domestically as a sport in then after 1980. So yeah, and then it
Yes,
just
sir.
started. They were still, trying to figure it out
Yes,
how
sir.
to do it. Yeah.
And I actually in the beginning I got my traditional Kung Fu training. Hong Quan, Hongga is my traditional martial arts background.
Okay.
When I was very young, and then I met my coach. He's a city team coach for Kaohsiung City. He was the 国术擂台 world champion gold medalist for Taiwan.
Okay.
So I always want to compete combat sports, and I found out he's a city team coach. So I went under his training. That's how I started. But that time, actually, he was a boxer.
Ah, his background was boxing.
He was a background is boxing mainly, and also 摔跤, wrestling.
Right, Chinese wrestling. Chinese
Yes,
wrestling
sir,
or
and
Western? Chinese, okay.
Chinese wrestling.
Yeah.
摔跤. I
Yeah.
believe that's a 长东生 system.
Right. Yeah, that is the most prolific teacher within Taiwan to bring the system over there was Chang Dongsheng. So
Yes, sir.
most
And
lineages there.
also,
Yeah.
yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, most of the lineages can trace their way somehow to Chang Dongsheng,
Yes, sir.
or a lot of them at least.
And yes, sir. I think mainly it's a 长东生 system.
Yeah.
And he also Taekwondo's black belt.
Okay.
He also the Taekwondo black belt. So from all his background, he got us a very complete training and very similar type of training system like Sanda nowadays. That's
Yeah,
how I
exactly.
got started.
I mean, he's basically got Ti Da Shuai all there.
He
So,
does right. Yes, sir. Exactly the same. Until Quan Jianming, Quan 教练. Yeah, he came to Taiwan. Actually, he probably is the one to help Taiwan Chinese Taipei team to build a Sanda training system to help our national team's training. Yeah, and I was under his training when I went to national team.
okay. What was training like back then? And would you say the differences between your original teacher's approach and subsequent coaches' approach?
Similar, but okay. When I was young, if you know how to throw 1-2, 1-2 for boxing all time, if you have the good boxing background, honestly, for Leitai, it's pretty easy to handle most of the competition. And fortunately, my 师傅, my coach, he good with the Chinese wrestling.
Yeah.
And that time, our takedown skills not as dedicated as now. Most of the time, you just shoot in single leg or double leg. If you are able to do that, you're pretty good that time. And kicking everybody almost similar from Taekwondo background. You know, Taiwan, Taekwondo is very popular in Taiwan. Many people that do martial, they also got the Taekwondo background. Most likely.
Yeah.
So that time, for us, it's pretty natural to put everything together to do Leitai. But until Quan Jianming, Quan 教练, came to Taiwan to help us to build a Sanda team, to train our Sanda team, we started doing this more systemized.
Systematic approach to the
Yes,
format.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We start. That's the very first time I feel like okay, it's the right way to do this sport, especially for the training portion. It's much more intensive than all time. What did we do? Later, the generation.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference between later and nowadays standard sport.
Yeah. So it's much more refined. I mean, you can see that even over the time with the Sansho Sanda discipline here from back in the day. I remember early
Yes, sir.
90s, and if you try compare it to the technical system today, is much more
Yes, sir.
developed.
Byron, if you still remember, probably like 10 years ago, Sanda, the way how they compete,
Yeah,
even during Sanda King,
exactly.
that generation. And nowadays, you see the newest Sanda athletes, the rhythm, the game plan, the skill. It's quite different though, right? This sport is keep evolving.
Yeah, yeah. It's being refined. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir.
I mean, yeah, if you
Yes,
watch
sir.
those old China versus USA, Sanda Wang, even the early days of the competitions domestically is completely different, the tactics and the approach. So,
That's true. That's true. Very, very big difference.
yeah. It was quite generic back then. I mean, in the sense
Yes,
that
sir.
everyone is doing a very similar approach, a very similar set of skills, and nothing too out of the ordinary. But nowadays, you see some very specialized tactics, and
Yes, sir.
and it keeps getting more and
Yes,
more
sir.
refined. I mean, I've even seen guys who know how to hide nafa within their skills to put pressure on your
Mm-hmm.
joints to enable them to throw you better, and that's a whole skill on its own because you're wearing gloves and headgear and all of that. It's not the same as
Not
before.
the same at all.
Yeah,
Agree.
yeah.
Agree.
That's very interesting. So you went into the sport, and did you ever have a desire to become a professional athlete?
Well, it's a good question. When I still compete, right? It's still like we have a governing support.
Hmm.
So that time, if you compete, if you win the competition, you have a very good pay. The price it was great for when I was young. Especially I'm from the kind of like a tough financial situation family.
Hmm.
I remember national champion. If I win the gold medal, after I win the gold medal, as a guarantee, the whole family gets able to sustain the whole year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good money.
Yeah.
That time we didn't even think about professional or not professional, that level. I know the sports professional is when after I came to USA.
Hmm.
In Asia, most of Asian countries, yeah, but allow me to say that, okay?
Hmm.
Since I've been in USA forever, there's the biggest difference compared with the government. You have a government supports countries
Hmm.
and without government supports country. In USA, there's a sport without government support, right?
Yeah.
So participants doing this is for fun. Most of them for fun and it's their hobby. Okay,
Yeah.
but what back back to my old time when I was still in Taiwan, when I was still an athlete. Honestly, the biggest motivation for me, I mean, especially for me, because of prize.
Right.
Yeah, we had a good pay, we had a good price. That's why there's a motivation. We pushing ourselves. I push myself pretty hard uh, to get the goal to win the competition
Yeah.
to get the prize.
Okay.
So you can tell, even we compete in the amateur rule, right? Honestly, it's almost like a professional treatment for me,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean
right?
the definition of professional can be sometimes hard to fully define because if you say there's
That's
prize money,
right.
yeah, like some people think if you're fighting and you're getting prize money, it's professional, but that's not necessarily true. That's just a prize sometimes. I mean, you can have a situation where there's prize money at stake, but then all your training, all the time when you're in training, you don't get a salary, you don't get a stipend, you don't get support, then are you really professional? Because the training is the long part. The prize is only one small thing, you know? So
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
it
sir.
Are you interested in learning authentic traditional Chinese martial arts of Xingyi Quan and Baguazhang? Well, if that's the case, the Huajin Online Learning Program is for you. The Huajin Online Learning Program is the premier distance learning program where you can learn authentic arts of Hebei Xingyi Quan and Liang style Baguazhang in a comprehensive and in-depth manner from wherever you are. Featuring over 120 in-depth lessons covering aspects of individual training, technique refinement, forms, application, partner work, conditioning, internal skill building and qigong, and much more. The Huajin Online Learning Program has been running successfully for over 3 years and is highly praised by participants within the program. So start your journey into learning authentic classical Chinese martial arts today by visiting mushinmartialculture.com to find out more or to sign up directly at patreon.com/mushinmartialculture. That is the Huajin Online Learning Program. Enroll today. Nowadays we understand if you're talking about a professional athlete, it means that he basically is supported through his training to enter competition, not just getting a prize money from the competition. But that's quite an interesting incentive. And I'm, based on what you mentioned about your background, your family situation, that must have been a very strong driving factor for you to succeed, but then also that would drive you to train harder, obviously, too. So probably more so than a lot of other people that might be given that, So, yeah.
Just imagine that, Byron. 365 days as a year, right? It's almost 200 days you stay starving.
Yeah.
I cannot even imagine how did I go through that time.
Right. Yeah, that's tragic, but you're a strong guy, man. I mean, I've known you for quite some time now. So if anyone was going to get through it and then be successful in the end, it's you. And you did exactly that. You did exactly that.
Yes, sir.
What was the domestic competition like back then in Taiwan? Like the competitions that you had, I mean, Blay Thai, etc., and then obviously when it became a little bit more formalized. What was the standard like between the differing places in Taiwan? Was it still, because I mean, I have trophies still in my cupboard here from back in the day when I competed in Guoshu competitions, and it's
many young generation, they don't know Lei Tai how it looks like. I mean the old time one, especially when we still did Guoshu that time, right?
Yeah.
It's very simple, like a puzzle mat.
Yeah.
Only on the ground, in the basketball field, but it was serious. It was serious because there's a lot of money involved. The prize is big, and that's probably the highest level combat sports. You could compete. You could compete that time, and the prize really attract a lot of different combat sports people to come participate. I remember we have many famous athletes that from like either many of them from like a boxing background, and they're not just like a so-so boxer. They are famous boxers in Taiwan national team, judo guys, taekwondo guys, karate guys. So that time it was pretty cool and exciting. Especially the equipment is totally different with nowadays. Then we have a mask.
It's
a full cover mask. Yes. I think you still remember that.
I've used those before.
Yes, sir. And with the box, not boxing gloves, it's a similar like MMA gloves.
Yeah, it's like open finger, but not exactly the same.
Yes, sir. And you no chest gear, no shin guard, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, and that time they even allow you to do the elbow strike, knee strike.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's more brutal that time.
Yeah.
And then when the Sanda start developing, and Taiwan also accepted the new rules, we started competing Sanda rules. Because that's more like how you say that? Guoshu Lei Tai, they also got world championship, right?
Yeah.
used to be very big when Sanda not really be well developed like nowadays.
Yeah, I remember.
That time, it probably also the biggest how we say that Wushu Chinese Kung Fu's combat competition.
Yeah.
But China, after they really develop, they are ambitious to develop Sanda as a mainstream for Chinese Kung Fu. I mean the bare hand combat sports. Everybody starts switching their attention to Sanda, especially the governing fund switched to Sanda because they Sanda also get included by Asian game. That's the biggest change for us. That's a big game plan change. So and then all the fighters start switching to Sanda, include me. That means, well, that's where governing funding going to be. I think that's most of Taiwanese Sanda athletes. The whole background is something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, it also would have to have switched once that happened to be even more focused on professional training,
Yes, sir.
Almost full-time, professional athletes.
You got to be full-time. Byron, I think you are one of the experts to witness the whole development, right?
Yeah.
If you cannot do this full-time, it's almost guaranteed you're not able to compete with those top countries that have that do the full-time training.
Exactly. It's funny because of the whole every few years the argument comes up in Chinese martial arts, but after Xu Xiaodong's things over the last few years, a lot of Western people will ask the same, and even Chinese martial arts people, they'll say frankly, it's quite silly. They'll say, yeah, but Kung Fu cannot beat MMA, and I'm like, it's not about style versus style. The first thing is about standard versus standard. If you're fighting against a professional athlete and you're an amateur, I don't care what you do. You got a very low chance of beating them. It's about their standard. It's not just about he's doing traditional hunga that's really good for fighting, and this is beating. He can't beat an MMA athlete. It's because you need to shui ping. What's their standards that you're competing first?
I think you got the really good point. Standard.
Yeah.
And that's all the training portion behind the standard.
Exactly.
Many people, they do traditional because they love it, they like it. Okay, so they train that for fun, for self-defense use, but not mainly for competition use.
That's exactly it.
The purpose is totally different.
So what's your goal is very important, yeah?
Yes, if I want to go compete the highest level competition like continental games, like a world championship, a World Cup. Well, you got to train yourself full time. That's a commitment.
Yeah.
But I believe most of traditional martial artists, they love the skills, they love the Kung Fu style. They have a passion to do that. Yeah. But they don't really need to do that full time for we have a competition coming, world championship coming for next year, and you got to join national team to train whole year.
Right.
6-8 hours per day, 6 days per week. No, most of people, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't compete with the professional fighters. They've been doing this as a full time. So sometimes when I see some kind of competition, like a traditional Kung Fu versus MMA fighter, it's even a competition. We shouldn't even call it a fight.
Yeah.
Because that's not based on the same standard like you just mentioned.
Well, you can swim, right? You know how to swim, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Of course, you're from Kaohsiung, you know how to swim. So you can swim, you can get in the water, you swim, you won't drown. But you're not going to get into a race with an Olympic swimmer and then wonder why you lost. You'll be that's quite clear.
Yes, sir.
I'm just
Byron, I
amateur.
think that's a very good example. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
I love it. I do that for my fitness purpose, right?
yeah, yeah,
For my healthy purpose,
yeah.
and use that to compete the highest level. It's totally different story. Not even on the same page.
But
How can you compare?
exactly. But you know what happens now is people on the other side will say something like this about traditional arts, and then say, therefore, this traditional stuff is useless. No, even as an amateur swimmer, I use it in my daily life for my life, you know? I'm
Yes.
not gonna sit and say now, well, my swimming is useless. I must only do professional swimming. If you want to compete at that level, then you must do professional swimming. If you're using your martial arts because it brings you joy, you enjoy doing it for entertainment value, cultural value, spiritual value, health, it makes you healthy, and it gives you some self-defense. Now, self-defense is different to going to fight a professional fighter, and it gives you some self-defense. That is really what traditional Chinese martial arts is about. So
Yes,
there's
sir.
there's no reason
Agree.
to throw the one away or the other one away because you didn't beat a professional swimmer. Now you're never going to get in the swimming pool ever again. Come on, that's ridiculous.
Yes, sir.
So
Agree. I think there's just a different level. There's no comparison
yeah,
between that.
yeah, yeah.
But Byron, I do have another opinion
Mm,
idea since you mentioning about this, right?
yeah,
But I also got to share my opinions about this issue.
yeah.
You know, but some of the people that do traditional martial arts, I don't know the purpose. Some of them they teach this
Yeah,
for making a living, right?
yeah, yeah.
Some of them it's just naive. They probably never compete, they never fight,
Right.
but they might just uh, misleading themselves or trying to misleading other people. Hey, the style you train, for example, Honga. Now the thing you train. If I was a Honga master,
Mm,
I'm because that's my job. That's the way how I. That's the thing I make a living by teaching this. Oh, that's the best martial arts. After you doing this, you can beat up every people.
right.
And some students might take it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So they feel like, oh, after I do this, I'm able to beat up everybody. So
Yeah.
there might be some certain kind of misleading
Yeah.
to create the situation and make people start talking about, start think,
So so we've seen
planning
that.
about this
Yeah.
kind of, yep.
We've seen that, especially a lot of the people that, I mean, the Xu Dong thing for me was a very important point of Chinese martial arts development because you saw two kinds of issues there. One is somebody who really believes himself to have abilities that are not realistic, right? And
Hmm.
others that are complete charlatans, that are just outright liars, and some of them are both. There's a big problem that you mentioned there, and yeah, it's the Chinese saying "Jing di zhi wa." That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's the frog at the bottom
Yeah,
of a well looking up, and he thinks that little piece of sky that he can see is all the
that's the
sky.
whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't
Yeah,
know
that's
what they
very
don't
true.
know.
That's
They don't
very
know what
true.
they don't know. But you can be Jing Di Zhihua and think, I know what I can see, but maybe there's a lot that I don't see, and that's okay. But the problem with a lot of people is they literally are, that's everything. I know everything. There's nothing more to it, and they haven't experienced other, perspectives on martial arts, on what professional fighting is like, what the differences are. You can be both. You can be know and love what you do, but also realize its limitations and also realize its place in the big
Yes,
picture.
sir.
So,
Agree.
yeah,
So it might be not a bad thing, right, Byron?
Mm,
So having those things happen has helped. I mean, those things have happened, especially nowadays. Social media is very popular. It's almost everywhere for everybody. It's a little bit chaos, to hear people saying this, saying that. Especially some people, they don't even do martial arts. They love to talk about this.
Most of them. They don't
Most
know.
of them.
They don't have
They might be
experience,
very,
but they love to talk.
yes, they might be very extreme, like left side or right side, or maybe there's a big fan of MMA guy. They don't know traditional martial arts, or traditional martial arts. They don't know MMA or any modern combat sports.
Yeah.
But the chaos will it still exists for a while. But actually, people, they know, well, guys, we're not talking about the same thing, right? So there's no comparison. People will see them more and more, and they might give some traditional martial artists, the participants, that different idea. Hey, you see, that's just because of training. The training. It's nothing wrong with my skills and my techniques, but maybe because the training portion, the training technique, it's not fighting technique. I'm talking about training method.
Yeah.
Training techniques. We might want to adapt some from the modern combat sports.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You never know. They might help each other.
Exactly. The situational use of, so again, traditional martial arts exist to today not because they are useless, but because they had functional use. That's the first thing. So they served a society and a people in specific times and situations. So that's the first thing.
Yes, sir.
But a professional combat sport has a different situation than everyday life, and each country's laws and local situation is different. Like
Yes, sir.
if you're
Agreed.
living in South Africa, where I'm from, Chinese martial arts might help you a little bit, but realistically, if you're gonna have trouble in today's day and age, it's somebody with a gun. So you're not gonna be doing, ma bu chong quan in that situation. So the question then, the question is, what are you training for, and what situation? And similarly,
Exactly.
you can take your
Exactly.
traditional art and say, all right, our art has skill. I do Xingyi Quan, right? So Xingyi Quan is very good for combat. It has a lot of good points for combat in the environment it was created for. If I'm now going to go to, let's say, Sanda, where I've got gloves on, where I've got chest protector on, but most importantly, I've got a set of rules that allows certain techniques and doesn't allow other techniques. I got to be stupid if I'm getting ready for a Sanda competition to keep doing the techniques in Xingyi that are not legal in that format. So if I cut everything out that doesn't fit into Sanda, and I only focus on certain things that do fit into Sanda, I can probably have some success. But
I believe so. I agree.
But it doesn't make sense for me to ignore all the other techniques that are specifically successful in that format just because they are not Xingyi Quan, for example. If my goal is to compete in Sanda, you should do Sanda because that's, what you're doing. That's what MMA has shown
way
us.
to help you. Yes.
So I think it's a mentality.
Under that regulation, under that requirement of a scoring system.
Yeah.
You probably just do Sanda easier, more efficient.
Well, exactly. But the other side of this coin is that not everybody wants to become a professional athlete and train at that level, but they do want to do some martial arts and have the benefits of it that I mentioned earlier. So
yes, sir.
People need to stop being one side or completely the other, but look at things with open eyes and realize what they're doing, and why they're doing it, and be honest with themselves about why they're doing something. So
100% agree with your opinion, Byron. Using me as an example, okay?
Yeah.
I've been working on the punching bag, side kick, 1-2, 直摆 right? 1-2 hook, uppercut, all the wrestling. Now I'm getting older and slower now, but I still love the combat sport. Now I pay more attention on in kind of like appreciating and enjoying when I see some people perform traditional martial arts. For example, 形意拳, because in college, 形意拳 is one of the requirements I need to take.
Yeah.
That time I didn't really know how to appreciate that. Because that time I was still competing, all of my attention, how can I punch faster, more powerful, keep faster, keep more powerful.
Yeah.
But now I have more time and attention to appreciate the different styles, martial arts, internal one. For the thing I just talking about, 形意, 八卦, okay, even 咏春, more southern style one.
Yeah.
I can tell, wow, they got cool stuff.
My whole life is a lie.
Are floppy Chinese swords getting you down? Do you practice traditional Chinese martial arts but have difficulty locating and sourcing firm, solid steel training swords? Well, look no further. Available now on the Mushin Martial Culture online store are high-quality, custom-made, hard steel traditional training swords. Made from the highest quality materials, these swords have both the feel and weight distribution of traditional, authentic Chinese martial arts swords, featuring high-quality scabbards, as well as the option to include a historically accurate handle wrap. This sword is built to last. Head on over to the Mushin Martial Culture online store to order yours today. Available as well on the store are other items, apparel, training shoes, and other unique Chinese martial arts merchandise. The URL is mushinmartialculture.com. Ditch the tin foil and get yourself a sword you can be proud of.
Just thinking about their fighting philosophy, their drills, a lot of things we can learn, and you can tell all the their fighting the old time their fighting experience based on their specific background and the muscle control they can show you.
For sure.
Oh man, it's so much is so amazing. But I'm getting older to learn how to appreciate that and respect that.
Yeah, for sure. It's also something
Sometimes
you can do forever.
Yep.
It's something you can do forever. Really, you can do it as long as you can move, you can do those arts.
Agree. That's something I try to go back and picking them up again. If I have any chance, if I have someone would like to teach me, or I would love to enjoy, picking them up and start learning and training again.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
For sure. Well, we started talking about, we've gone into a very interesting topic here, but, and I think, people will find it quite interesting with regards to their own ideas about training. But when you were competing then, back in those days, because I like to get people's history, I really want to hear about
Yes, sir.
path. And then you started competing provincially or in your region, in Taiwan, and what was that like? And then how did you end up? Like you said, your last Asian Games in Thailand before you started studying in the States.
That's my last chance to compete in the national level. And after that, I came to USA.
Right.
And for that, we all of our first line, the top athletes train in the Taoyuan city. I know you probably know Taoyuan, right?
Yeah, I've been there. I was there for the university
northern side of national training camp. We stayed there like I cannot remember how long, like half a year or something like for preparing Asian game. As full-time training. That's all full-time training, and it's pretty high pressure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And what was the competition itself like?
What you mean? How was it?
The Asian Games. What was that like? That experience for you?
I didn't get compete in the Bangkok. I went over there. I was one. Okay, that's a long story. Let me try to make it short. I went for the team tryouts, but that time they already select the national team members already.
Oh, I see.
But the Chinese Wushu, the Taipei, Chinese Taipei Wushu Federation, 中华国武术总会,
Yeah.
they made the decision. They want to open the position again. For example, I was serving in the military that time, so I didn't get the chance to do the first team tryout.
Right.
So I believe that's a suggestion from Quan 教练, if I remember correctly. It's a long time ago. So the federation, they opened the second team trials. And finally, I got approval. I got approved by the military. They let me out, to attend the team tryout. So I remember one day I beat up two of national team members in my weight class. They were shocked because I never trained forever in military. There's no way you can train.
Right.
Luckily I still beat them up, but the two athletes they lost to me for a while ago that time, and I beat them up. Maybe they just they got too much pressure. And then I become the first line team member. And then so much drama because so much money got involved.
Of course.
It's all a political thing.
Yeah.
So the thing happened. We thought the team trial already done. Okay. So we start following our training program, the curriculum to control our weight, until we were informed, hey, you got to do one more time team tryout. But that time we didn't prepare to our weight. I remember that time, I think I was like a 6 kilogram, 7 kilogram
overweight.
Over.
Yeah.
But our team coach insisted that's illegal because our team trial is the final one. So the coach told us, don't worry about that. Just follow your own pace until the team, the really made it happen. The one more team trial, the one shouldn't exist. They still do it. And no. I cut, if I remember, I cut like 6 kilograms in one night.
Well, that's not healthy.
In one night. So next day, I still feel like that's totally fine. It's more like a piece of cake for me.
When you're young, you don't realize. But your body knows.
I didn't care. I didn't care that time. I still easily won first round. I still feel like, oh man, why are you wasting my time? But I did feel my legs start shaking. I couldn't catch on my breath, right? And second round, I was totally gassed out. I got pushed out, and until I couldn't even I was not even able to climb back to the center of the ring.
Oh no!
So I lost that one, right? Man, it's a nightmare. I couldn't believe that shit happened. Well, so the second position one become the first line representative. I remember him, I think, but we still the spare one, okay?
Right. Until
we went to Bangkok, so I didn't compete Asian game that time. The one used to lose to me. He represent my weight class, 65 kilograms, and he got the silver medal.
Okay.
And I was just sitting in the audience seats to see everything happen. It was a nightmare. You couldn't imagine. It's supposed to belong to me.
Yeah, I know.
But it's all there. It's all those story now. Now I'm okay. But for a long time, for almost a whole year, I couldn't accept it. I couldn't sleep that time. Because I almost lost like $100,000, the prize.
Yeah.
And not just the money. And how you say that? That's your
pride.
The pride. Yeah, that's the pride. The guy, I feel like, man, not even the same level as my level. Now he represent Chinese Taipei to compete. He got a silver medal. He lost to China team.
Right.
China Sanda athletes because he got kicked by his nuts, something like that, if I remember right.
He kicked the Chinese guy in the nuts, or he got kicked in
No,
the nuts?
I don't know if he pretending or something, because he become a history now. I shouldn't criticize that.
I know, but look, if he got kicked in the nuts, and then
He got kicked in the nuts.
and the decision was that he lost, it means that he was fainting, so he was pretending.
Well, you can say that, but I'm not in that position to criticize that, because you know I'm talking about my situation.
Yeah, I know.
I shouldn't talk shit about that, but
Well,
that's why
I'm just saying
I
from
don't
the rules
criticize.
point of view, and the
Yes,
rules are very
So
clear. A doctor will inspect, and he will determine
that's
whether
right.
or not it's a
That's right.
legitimate injury or not. And if it's a
I couldn't see Sanda athlete kick his nut. I couldn't see that. But he was laying there, and because I understand Chinese and Taiwanese, right? Hogganese.
Yeah.
I remember the cornerman keep yelling at him, staying there, laying down there, don't move.
Well, you see, these people don't understand the rules. I've seen this quite a few times at World Championships. You know, they think even if you got fully kicked in the nuts, right? Even if you got fully kicked in the nuts, which is illegal, okay? And you pretend or you lie down there, you can continue, but you decide, no, I'm going to try get the victory by illegal action of my opponent. I'm going to lie here and just pretend I can't carry on. They will take you to the back and get a doctor to inspect. And after the doctor has determined whether there was an actual injury or not, if there wasn't an injury, you lose. So you've actually thrown away the fight, you know? So a lot of people don't know this. I've seen this a few times at World Championships.
Yeah, but Byron, I think that time they understand they have no chance.
Oh, I see.
That's why they did that. That's my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And then he got silver. I got nothing, but in the same venue. So that's the thing. The whole thing bothered me like longer than a year.
I've
My
gone through
last chance,
experiences where I've had somebody do bad things to me that were not deserving, and that it affected me for 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, I know what you're talking about. So, and you know what I'm talking about too. But anyway, we won't talk about that. So, yeah.
So that's pretty much my side of some memories.
Well, let's go to the good memories. So you moved to the States, you started a new chapter in your life, you finished your university. And then what got you into teaching there? What made you decide to start teaching there?
Well, this another purpose that came to US besides getting a higher degree, right? I know that's the martial arts. It's still the skill I know very well that time, and I that's also part of my plan. I would like to promote Wushu Sanda in USA. I know how much I can do. I have a legit training. I have a legit knowledge. So I would like to share those to the people who interested in the Sanda sports.
Yeah.
But that time, not many people they know what Sanda is, right?
Yeah.
And then I met one time. I got a call by Gao Meijian Gao 老师.
Yeah, Gao Meijian.
Gao Meijian used to be the head coach for Chinese Sanda team.
Yeah.
He contacted me and asking me if I'm interested in being his assistant coach for the coming World Championship. I remember that's in Macau.
Yeah, that's 2003.
That time. Yes, sir. That's 2000. Yeah. So he contacted me and he introduced me to Federation or USAWKF and President Go.
Yeah.
Because Gao 老师 knows me and he think I am able to assist him to help. That's how did I get started.
Right. Okay. And Gao Meijian, is he still active in the States?
I don't know. I haven't heard about
I've heard
him
nothing
for
about him for many,
long
many
time. I
years.
remember people they saying they were talking about he kind of like travel back and forth from USA to China.
Okay.
If he's still teaching, I strongly doubt. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe his son, but they never really bring any athletes to compete the national and the team tryouts. So I don't really know if
Yeah.
he's still being active. If he's still active with this sport.
I remember very early, I was probably 19, and I got a VHS video tape of this series that was released by the Chinese Wushu Association called Wulin, and they interviewed and showed a little bit. I think it was 100 or 20. I can't remember actually. There's a series of videos. I think it was 3 videos. Martial artists that were recognized by the Chinese Wushu Association. And there was a little piece on Gao Meijian with a couple of his athletes training. It's like late 90s, mid to late 90s, that kind of Sanshou. It was called Sanshou, obviously.
Kind of pretty early generation one.
Yeah, yeah. You can see his guys doing some punching and kicking, and then Gao Meijian.
Not the same, huh?
Not the same now, but
Not the same.
About 2-3 years ago, I took that little interview with him and I translated it so people could watch it, and I put it on my YouTube channel, so it's out there. If people,
Oh, cool! I wanna go find it.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. If people want to see a little bit about that back then.
That would be interesting. Yep.
So yeah, and then you started your own club in Lubbock. So that was after your involvement with the group that was going to Macau.
Actually, before that, I had a students club for Tech, right?
Yeah.
And after I graduate from the master degree, getting my master degree, I opened my own martial art training center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's yes, almost like
okay.
14 years before.
Yeah, was it always called the name
United Martial Arts Training
United
Center?
Martial Arts, yeah. Why did you choose this name?
That's always my philosophy. I would like to have a facility. People might be interested in different type of the principles, right? Maybe traditional martial arts, boxing, wrestling, judo, Shuaijiao, Sanda. I can see their different specialization, and they're always my goal. It's similar like mixed martial arts concepts.
Of course.
If we are able to put everything together, and not everyone specifically fit in the certain type of combat sports.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not necessarily being good at boxing, but maybe you're good in the taekwondo. Maybe your striking not that great, but you can wrestle. You are good with the grappling, right?
Right.
With the jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So I would like to create a facility that people they have the chance to enjoy and to find out their best opportunity to enjoy the combat sports, the specific type of martial arts.
So they can discover which one of the disciplines they're more suited to, and then can enjoy it and explore it all in one place. And if they want to do more than one, they also can. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's why I call the name United. United Martial Arts.
Dragon Body, Tiger Spirit, a translation and explanation of the classic text of Xingyi Quan, is available now. This critically acclaimed work presents, translates, and explains the core classical texts of the art of Xingyi Quan, many of which have been utilized by other arts, including Taiji Quan, Bagua Zhang, and others. Available in hardcover, softcover, and ebook versions. Get your copy today from MushinMartialCulture.com or from Amazon. Take your practice to the next level with Dragon Body, Tiger Spirit. I mean, people don't realize, people again, they're quite narrow-minded in some senses, but they don't realize that in the Mingguo, the Republican era, after 1911, and you had the Guoshu movement,
Yes, sir.
they were doing that. They were uniting different Chinese martial
Yes,
arts.
sir. Yes, sir. 中央国术馆, 青岛国术馆, that time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's what do they do. 南少林、北少林内家外家.
Exactly. And they had the Lei Tai competitions back then. They had
Yes,
people
sir.
from any
Yes, sir.
background coming and fighting. And you know what they noticed from a few of the results? You can look at this. There's records of it. Most of the guys that were placing at the top were cross-training. They weren't just doing one
Yes, sir.
system. They were doing more than one
Yes,
system.
sir. Some of them even they have the quite of a boxing background, wrestling
Exactly.
background,
Exactly.
摔跤技术, but they also do all the traditional martial arts.
Exactly.
I think that's probably the best time for traditional martial arts training, the program. That time is great. That time is great.
If China didn't have the Japanese invasion and then the Civil War, and the Guoshu movement from that time, early 1900s, if it had continued to develop uninterrupted, that would have been the first MMA that would have been presented.
That's very possible. That must be the big chance for sure.
So it's interesting to think about this. We keep thinking that it's some new concept, but even if you go back to ancient Greece, this was something that was done there, but the development stopped. When we come to more recent times, you can definitely see that the Guoshu Lei Tai movement in its original direction would have eventually led to what we're talking about with a united system of rules that caters for various methods and styles and their approaches to combat under one event. That is exactly where it was going.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
But yeah, we'll never know. We'll never know. History decided to go another direction. So
yes, sir.
So currently at your gym, you have quite a few disciplines. By the way, I interviewed Corey last month. His episode is coming out soon.
I heard about that.
So yeah, we spoke a little bit about his background and his experiences training under you, and I've known him since I first met both of you in Texas. Almost 10 years
in
ago.
Lubbock, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, I could see that this is a very passionate, very dedicated person to the martial arts and the disciplines.
Yes, sir.
And it's obviously because of the influence of a good teacher like yourself. So
thank you so much, Byron.
What do you have currently that you're teaching at UMA, at United Martial Arts?
Byron, would you please repeat that one more time, your question?
What classes and what disciplines do you offer currently at United?
We have our basic boxing training, wrestling training, but based on the Chinese wrestling.
Okay.
And also Western wrestling too. I bet you're probably able to see some Mason's
I saw he did well.
Information.
I saw he did very well.
Yes, sir.
So
yeah, luckily he likes it, and he's very dedicated. He pushes himself very hard. So he does Sanda and Jiu-Jitsu and the Western wrestling too. I believe when he go to middle school, he's in the middle school program now. Once he go to 7th degree, he's going to join the school team. So he's going to be the school team wrestler. So that's all things and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for sure. Especially no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Corey, he got his world champion title one time.
I know.
So that's all the martial arts. If possible, we would like to have recruit more the disciplines. I mean, different type of martial arts to join us. So one day, if our situation available, that would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. What is
you know that, right? I always want to have a traditional and the Taolu instructors, but in Lubbock, it's too difficult to to recruit those instructors to come.
But
Maybe.
the other side I wanted to ask you is the local people in Lubbock. What is their? Are they quite open to? I mean, I think combat sports they're probably a little bit more easy to get involved
Exactly
in.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Combat, especially in Texas. In Texas, the people here, their culture, they love combat sports. So almost every martial art sports is pretty popular here. The most popular one, karate,
Oh, really?
Brazilian jiu-jitsu recently, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's popular everywhere. Taekwondo, that's just one of traditional Olympic game. It's combat sports pretty popular here. Traditional martial arts, not we still not able to compare with the population like in California
Yeah.
and the West and the East Coast,
Yeah.
right? That because they have a big Asian population there. In Texas, maybe in bigger city like Houston, Dallas, you can see many Shaolin schools there. But
Yeah, I
in
saw some
Lubbock,
there.
we almost don't have. Yeah. In Houston, traditional martial arts is very popular. I believe in Austin too, but I don't know. I don't really know Austin City very well.
Right.
Dallas, yes. In Lubbock, because the Asian population is so small, so traditional martial arts is not as popular as compared with the big cities.
Right. Well, yeah, I think you're doing good things there with your academy. You've got the World Championships that you also hosted in Texas, not in Lubbock, but in
That's in Fort Worth, Dallas.
Fort Worth,
Yes, sir.
Dallas. But I've been to Lubbock to your events that you held
Yes, sir. Yes,
numerous
sir.
times, both national and continental, and really it was my favorite events that I'd been to. Probably my favorite events that I've been to, even on an international stage, simply because of the warm-heartedness of you and the people there, but also that you do things. You always did things the best that you could. You weren't ever. You would always do 110% of your ability, and that's what was always good. And you
Thank you
helped the
so
world.
much, Byron. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always had a
Yeah.
good time coming and seeing you guys. And what
I'm
made
glad to hear about that.
what made you decide to host the World Championships? Because that's a big undertaking.
I know. That's I was shocked too. The World Championship in Shanghai before USA before
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, the President Go, the president of USAWKF.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told us, well, USA going to bid the World Championship for next World Championship.
Yeah.
We were shocked. That's without government support from you want to host like a World Championship, that kind of level events. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
It's
Put you
not
on the
easy.
street. It can put you on the street.
But we made it, right? Yeah, we made it. We made it. Yeah, President Go got he worked so hard, and he recruit a very good, wonderful people as a volunteers. We had a great team. We recruit different volunteers from different states, different businesses.
Right.
We recruit the very capable people. We lucky have those people. They really jump in and help us to make this happen.
If you enjoy the Drunken Boxing podcast as well as all the other Mushin martial culture endeavors, please do support us if you can at patreon.com. We have 2 support tiers there that you can pledge to help us continue to do the work that we do and continue to bring you the podcast as well as all our other works. If you would like to make a once-off tip or donation to our endeavors, please visit the link listed in the show notes or scan the QR code here. Thank you to everyone who supports us. I knew that when you were gonna be, the one in charge to organize and to basically host this or get it hosted. I knew that even if you didn't have all the resources that you needed, you'd still make it a success because of, the way you are. So, I had no doubt.
Myron, actually, I was not the one to be in charge.
I know
If
he's not
you see
directly
the
in
whole
charge.
thing,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 seriously. I probably the one of the name, the most useless one. Other people that made it, President Go, our board members, and the
I'm
other
sure.
volunteers that
Yes,
made
yes,
it.
yes, yes.
I'm just the one to show up there, pretend I'm very busy. That's it.
Well, your nephew had a very good result in the Sanda. I think it's the
Oh,
high.
Bruce, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. We got to talk about this. I'm so proud of him.
yeah.
Actually, he almost fought the whole tournament with a one single leg.
I know he
His
tore his
yeah, he
ACL.
tore his ACL, and his all the surgeries happened by with his left elbow. He
Yeah,
never really got a chance to train fully, but it was the result is touch. It's incredible. I
yeah,
got to give that
completely.
guy. Even he for me, he's still kind of dumb, but he made it too. He made it too, and we also lucky really in his
Mm,
weight class. Luckily, we didn't have that many the top countries. That's one of the factors we got to admit that.
yeah, yeah,
But the heavyweight sometimes that nowadays world championship really depends on how lucky or how bad luck you are when you did the
yeah,
draw, right?
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly.
Nowadays, really,
Well, I
it's
think he
so
did well,
competitive now.
and he
Yes,
fought
sir,
like
he did well.
through serious adversity, and he did well. So that's in the record books either way. So, and I
Yeah,
think the next one will be Mason in the future. I still can't believe.
Mason had a good chance. Mason had a good
Yeah.
chance. Oh, you know that, right? We also got two bronze. One is from Livingston.
Yes, I know.
From
Yeah.
another one is Audrey. Luckily, three of them all from Wuma,
I just can't believe
right?
this because, you talk about Audrey, you talk about Mason, and the last time I saw them, they were little kids. Mason was so small,
uh,
so, and he's
yeah,
such
but
a sweet
maybe
boy. He's such a sweet
yes,
boy,
sir.
Mace. But then he gets onto the competition floor and
Yes,
he's all
sir.
business. So that's good.
He has an Pan American Championship coming soon in California.
Mm.
Byron, after he finishes the tournament, I will record his tournament, and if that's possible, I will share his fight with you.
Okay,
You
please
will
do.
see that it's amazing to see the 11 years old kid
Good.
fight in that kind of style. Yeah,
I'm
he
looking
he he,
forward to
he,
it.
he yeah. He is amazing. Yeah, I'm so proud of him too.
That's great, man. So I'm so happy for all that you've achieved there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Thank you so much.
what's the last little thing that we can touch on is what are your plans or dreams or desires for the future moving on?
Same thing. Um, President Go and our whole federation
Mm,
also been changing a lot.
mm,
You probably can tell we have been recruiting so many new broads. We trying to complete the whole function of the federations.
mm.
Nowadays we are working on the grading system for Taolu and Sanda.
Yeah.
It's almost we almost finalized everything. My goal, if you want to talk about this, I think another easier way, the best way to help promoting Sanda probably the grading system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we want to set up a goal for different level of participants because not everyone want to be professional athletes, right?
Well, completely. Yeah.
But yeah, I still love it, and I still want to see how much I'm able to bring me in what kind of level. I think grading system for many people, I think for professional fighters, they probably don't care about that
Of
much.
course. Yeah.
But for people that interested in taking martial arts training, they might not need to be the professional, the full-time athletes, but they can set up a goal for themselves,
And a goal that they can
especially for
reach.
kids.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Especially for kids, especially in the Western world,
Yeah.
right? People that got influenced by Taekwondo, Karate, or other martial arts, they have a grading system. So they know how to set up their goal and they
Yeah.
would enjoy their accomplishment. I think
Yeah.
Sanda need to do the same thing. We almost finalized the whole project. So
Yeah.
I hope we have the chance to promote that in USA first and able to be hooked up with the standard with the whole martial arts world, right?
Yeah. I think that's a good
And
goal.
yes, sir, we would like to see that. And hopefully, because of grading system, if we have a better resources, we can do the feedback to the the. I'm a Sanda guy. Let me just talk about Sanda. Okay,
Mm.
we can offer enough resources to the first line coaches and fighters. There's no way we have that kind of professional team environment in USA. They're not going to happen. No way
No.
that can happen because it's just totally different world.
Yeah.
But at least we can give them a
Guideline.
better guideline environment. So when they go compete world championship, when they need to fight with the top countries fighters, at least people feel like, hey, they're going to be the great game. They're going to be the great match. And not just like, man, the guy just got bullied, got tortured.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very discouraging, but that's something I would like to see that happen. Now, okay, you're talking about Bruce. Bruce been doing this long enough.
Yeah.
So even he enough from that kind of professional environment, but he stayed with this sport long enough.
Exactly.
Long
Exactly.
enough.
You know,
Since when he was
not
40 years old.
everyone can get to the level to be on the world championships. And not everyone who gets to the world
Yes,
championships will
sir.
even get a top 3 placing. So at least they don't feel like after a career or a lifetime dedicated to the sport, they don't have some kind of recognition back or some kind of it's not just about recognition, it's about them achieving something for their efforts, and a grading
Yes, sir.
system is one way to do that. Um,
Yes, sir.
and that's why these other martial arts also do it, because it's a guideline, it's a goal, and it's also some sort of recognition for your efforts and contribution over the
For
years.
sure.
So
Yeah, Byron, I know you are also an expert of a high level of a jiu-jitsu guy, right? If I remember correctly.
yeah. It's
I
almost,
think
I'm
you
almost
got
black, almost black.
you're almost you brown now, right?
Yeah, I'm brown. I've got probably another 6 months or so, and then I'm black. So
Byron, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everybody knows if you participate Jiu-Jitsu, once you achieve your level, right? Blue belt,
yeah.
it's almost the black belt level. The rest of the belt, it just depends on how much time you invest, how dedicated you involve, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, but can you imagine when you get promotion, when you get your brown, it's still touch, it's still exciting, right?
Of course. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
enjoyable. Yeah. So
Exactly.
that's we want Sanda participants that also have the right, have the chance to enjoy that.
No, that's right. It's the right idea. It's the right idea. And
Yes,
it
sir.
stops them from being discouraged if they didn't win at a competition to say, why am I doing this? Okay, there's nothing really for me to achieve and I can't win, so I stop now. Whereas
That's
even
right.
if they don't, they're like, even I don't win, I can get this level and then get up to that. I'll keep training. I keep training. And then who
Yes,
knows
sir.
what happens? Maybe they do get to world championship level or become a world
You never
championship
know, right?
anyway. You never know.
Especially they're going to be the good encouragement for many kids.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want kids stay with this sport long enough, like Mason, like Bruce, like Audrey. Thinking about
Yeah.
Audrey got started when she was 7,
I know. I remember seeing this little girl.
right?
So yeah.
Finally, she got her bronze.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But if we don't have that professional environment, training environment, but at least we got to put enough time
Yeah.
and effort, long enough effort to build up an good athlete, especially for Sanda athlete. So
Yeah.
we're going to keep working on that and keep moving forward.
Oh, that's great. That's something I think it's a very good goal. And you personally, apart from professionally? What are your plans for the future?
Well, my future, now we got several medalists. Maybe it's about time for me to back off to the second line to those young generation like Corey. Man, all of them better than I am now. So they have their experience, they have their skills, they're much, much better than I am. They have the newest skills and knowledges, right? I'm the old school one. So it's about time for them to be the first line. But myself, that's my goal. That's the goal I set for myself. I hope I'm able to create the best environment, the best system to help those people who wanna compete as an athlete or who wanna coach Sanda as their how you say that? We need full-time coaches.
No, I know what you mean. As their profession,
coaches.
as their
Yes, as their profession. But how can we encourage them? We got to have the very good environment and set up the best system so they can see the future, they can see the potential. I think they're going to be my first priority now. Coaching won't be my first priority anymore, but how I'm going to be able to create the best system and the environment,
Well,
and
I
that
think
people can see the
you've
potential.
set up a very good environment. I mean, you've got a lot to be proud of already, and to want to move it even further forward just shows your character. So that's just great. I think.
Thank you
it's
so
gonna be
much,
good.
Byron. Thank you. That is very kind words for me.
Well, it's just the truth. So yeah.
Thank
Well,
you. Thank you
I
so
don't want to
much.
take your whole night. I wanted to get some of your background. I think it's been very interesting for people that were listening. I'll
Yes,
put
sir.
I'll put some of your contact details and information for the school, etc., in the description when I release this. And
Wow, that's cool.
and you keep well. Thank you for your time today. And you and I will always
Thank
be in
you.
touch.
Thank you. Same here. Same here.
And say hi to everyone for me there.
Will do for sure. Okay.
Okay. You have a
I'm
good
looking
evening.
forward to seeing you soon.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
Okay. Now
Bye for now.
we will do that. We will do that. Okay.
All right. Okay. Bye for now.
All right. See you. Thank you so much, Byron. Thank you again.
Okay.